Thank you guys for joining me. My name is Ian Blackburn. This is Zoom into Wine every Wednesday night, even the night before a major holiday. We get together and drink some great wine with some great people from all over the place. I just want to thank you guys for making time for us. The wine quality that we're showing is really special. I think you'll really enjoy tonight's program. Let's begin. There's going to be 6 wines showed tonight. As this is not a heroes tasting, we just put the number on the jar. Keeping it simple allows us to keep the programs affordable. We're going to taste about $300 worth of wine this evening. And some of them are on the value side, and some of them are on the legend side of the fence. So we'll start off with wine number 1 being from Corsica. Wine number 2 is Santorini. Little Assyrtiko. Wine number 3, we're going to the north of Italy for some Sauvignon Blanc. Wine number 4, over to Germany for a little Weissburgunder, otherwise known as Pinot Blanc. Wine number 5 in the legend department, Pichler, that's Rudi Pichler, Grüner Veltliner, 2021, a very collectible vintage in this part of the world. One of the great vintages of all time, and this is one of the great producers inside of one of the greatest vintages of all time. I hope you love it. And then finishing with something really unique, growing story, dry Furmint from Hungary. We may know the wine called Azu, Tokaj Azu, 3 Petunia, 4 Petunia, 5 Petunia. This is not that wine. This is made from the grape Furmint, some great older vineyards. It's also made by the guy who owns Vegas, Sicilia, and he takes his winemaking very seriously. And we're going to finish with this gem today. So 6 great wines. Let's get rolling. I don't know about you, but my first wine of the day always makes me excited. I've had a few different wines in the past couple of months on different slideshows, different Zoom programs. This Corsican wine is, and I love the island wines of the Mediterranean. There's always something that really shows off the sunshine, the warmth, the salt air. And I think this is really going to kind of epitomize those ideas. Of course, Corsica is actually owned and operated by the French, right on top of Sardinia. We've got other little islands there to the west off of Spain, like Majorca. We got some great wines in our store from Majorca, by the way. And yeah, I just love the little island wines. They're not mass produced. They're very sensibly priced. They have some great character. I think they're optimal right about now. You know, it's about 90 degrees as the sun is setting in some parts of Los Angeles. A nice, crispy, cold wine with some very farmer's market type of cuisine is exactly what I'm thinking of. This producer, Maestracci, this is grown in the foothills, so we're not exactly right on the ocean's edge, but even in the middle of Corsica, you're still got a major ocean influence everywhere. They're growing olives everywhere. There's stone everywhere. There's not a lot of people. Just really optimal, wild, beautiful. Has anybody been to Corsica on this Zoom? That would be so cool to go there. It is on my list of places to get to in the next couple of years. We're doing some crazy travel, and that's going to hit the list pretty soon. Here's a great shot to show you. It looks like right out of Game of Thrones, that little city up there on the hill. That could be, that could be the set right there. These are the vineyards in between. They got started in 1893. The grape here is called Vermentino, otherwise known as Vermentino. And also in France, they call it Rolle, Rolle. You'll find a lot of Rolle being used in Provence Rosé. It's a really fun grape, Vermentino. Of course, it's hugely popular in Italy. And in fact, it just took over the #1 selling slot in our store with our little $20 bottle of Vermentino. It's the time of the year, and we've been selling it like crazy. And this is another version of that. And I wish more people had some more curiosity about Corsica, because I think it's kind of unknown. Maybe even on the experience so far hasn't been super amazing, because if you go back about 25 years, Corsica wasn't producing great wine. They weren't very organized, but it was such a dependable spot to grow produce and other things. They really started to mass populate grapes that people were looking to buy from other countries that were running out. I remember Corsican Pinot Noir coming into America when we were having a hard time keeping Pinot in stock. I remember Corsican Merlot coming in when we had a hard time keeping Merlot in stock. So it's always been kind of that backup plan. Hey, we're running low. Let's grow some on Corsica. Today, the Corsican wine market is in a different spot, and they pick the grape varieties that are best for their appellation, best for their communication, and best for their food. It grows together, goes together with wine. And this is just a lovely little bottle of wine, $20. I pulled out the Zalto tonight because these are some great wines that we're going to taste. Did not get a spit cup. I might have to drink a lot. Now, when I studied for the Master of Wine and we sat down and did blind tasting, I'm not sure that a Corsican wine would be on the Master of Wine exam yet, because what they're really doing is they're testing you on the classics. Maybe. I'd have to look at the papers for the last couple of years to see if they've gone there, but I don't remember one being on the test up until this point. You'd get something like, great Chablis, great Bordeaux, great Napa Cab, Italian Chianti, the classics, from all over the world. There's thousands of them, though. But here, when you swirl it around and you smell this nose, you can almost smell like that not only the saltiness, but the heat of the sun, kind of like sun-drenched, almost sun-burnt skins of grapes. Just, think of your skin sitting out in the sun on an island. What would happen? And grapes react the same way. And so we do things, canopy and shade and leaves and cluster counts and stuff like that to kind of find that good spot. But here, really some interesting nose character, a lot of like kind of floral. See what our winemakers said about this. Pale color with silver reflections, nose of white fruits. There's that floral notes, fresh and fleshy mouth, whose expression is typically of our terroir. Apricot, I think that's important. There's definitely white stone fruit coming through here, whether it's white peach or apricot, but tense with a beautiful minerality. So a lot of tension, a lot of acidity, a lot of structure, for a $20 wine, that's a lot of character. I would love to have this with, I just went to, and I posted on my Facebook recently, one of my favorite restaurants in Los Angeles right now is this little restaurant that I'm just rooting for. It's called Yes, Yess. The chef there, hardworking guy, has worked all over the world. He's Japanese, really an intelligent intellect. He is really into the belief that the way the fish was killed will determine how the flavors are being presented. So they're very careful about how the fish are killed. I guess there's like a stress factor that he can control and some other things, but that requires him to be really on top of his fish. His produce is meticulous. It's not the place where they take tweezers and put food and little foam on the plate. I don't like those places, honestly. I'll go there, I'll have an incredible meal, but that's not what I target. This is just super fresh, really nicely prepared. Kind of, if I were critical of them on anything, I think the high-end wine market or a high-end consumer that's going there may almost punish him for being too affordable. That sounds weird, but if you're too inexpensive, people don't give you the credit that you deserve. So I would take a bottle of wine like this to Yes. They would welcome you with a bottle of wine. That's another reason why I love this place. Very nice on the corkage policy. Not very many restaurants anymore do that. And you're going to have an amazing meal. You do need to like fish. It is a Japanese house that focuses on fish, but they just presented me with this little mackerel. It was so fresh and so not oily and so not overly fishy. Mackerel can be so delicious. You can just feel the quality of that food. A little mackerel with this type of dish. Mm. And so many other dishes that they had just really would shine here. Any kind of seafood, maybe some capers, kind of play with some of the acidity in this wine. I really like this. It's definitely craving some seafood and maybe sushi. What are you guys feeling? Do you like it? Is it hitting you all right? Thomas, thumbs up from you. Satsuko, I wish you were tasting this with me. Hi. Hi, Thomas, and hi, Thomas's daughter.
This is Macy. She's enjoying it tonight. We have a whole crew here. Just I was sitting outdoors. It's so hot inside the house. Well, this wine's perfect for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love Vermentino.
Very
Great.
delicious.
Awesome, guys. I'm so happy.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thomas, are you in SF?
We're in Burlingame.
In Burlingame, okay,
Yeah.
because I'm down south. I live in San Francisco, but I'm visiting friends, and it is hotter than you know what here. And you probably know, Ian, because it's like it hit 100. It's just
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah,
You know
we
what's
have no
weird?
air conditioning.
Oh my God. Well, you don't probably need it, right? Most of the time.
Most of the time we
Most-
don't.
Yeah, this year we're going to need it though, and we don't have it either. But this is a real lovely, affordable wine. I got some melon, like maybe some honeydew melon when I tasted, or cantaloupe,
I
and
like that too. Yeah.
yeah, it for hot weather, it's just perfect.
Yeah. And that's another dish that we had at Yes. He took some cantaloupe and served it with some they do have a few dishes, little side dishes on the menu right now that aren't just fish. And he had this pork dish, and it was like pork, almost like lamb chops, but he was like doing lollipops with them, and he served it with some fresh cantaloupe, and I thought it was such a weird combination, but it was so delicious. The sauce he was using, it was magnificent. Yeah, and the cantaloupe really from that dish, I can almost taste it now in this wine. That's a great reference. Awesome. We're off and running. Let's go on to wine number 2. By the way, I was going to say about temperature. It's so weird, and I don't want to jinx it. Why is Los Angeles cooler than most places right now? I mean, it's warm as hell. Don't get me wrong, but it could get so much hotter here. I mean, downtown LA, 84, 85 this week. I'll take it all torching summer long. If we could stay there, that would be nice. But I know it probably will rise above. But I feel like there's just something happening with the, maybe it's the pressure system, maybe the beach. Lisa, you're on the Zoom tonight. Is it June gloom over there in the
It's
morning?
so nice right now. It's beautiful out.
Yeah, it's got probably 65 degrees in your house.
Mhm. Pretty close.
That's the beauty of Santa Monica in June. Of course, the tourism kind of sucks because you start driving into the beach and then you look up and it's like white mist everywhere. But as a 20-year person who lived in Santa Monica, that was one of my favorite things to feel as I would leave my territory selling wine out there on the streets, you know, just blistering hot Woodland Hills, blistering hot Valencia, Tarzana, Beverly Hills even. And I drive into Santa Monica and it's almost like the air conditioner comes on and it's just the natural air coming off the ocean. It's spectacular. All right. Here we go. Wine number 2. Let's go Greece. Man, I have found so much pleasure in Greek wines, and there are some people that only experience the really cheap stuff. This is not one of those. This is a better producer from a better place. In fact, this is one of the best on the island of Santorini. There's some teeny wines, and I have some of them that you pay a lot more for. But from this to the $100 bottle, the progression is pretty small. I think this is rocking. And this is Estate Argyros. I had to phonetically break that out. Santorini, little teeny island out there right off the coast. We are going to be going there in October of 25, if you want to come with me. We're putting it together. We have no idea what this idea is going to cost. Right now, Santorini is an ultimate destination and travel's quite robust. October, things kind of fall off in Greece, especially in Santorini. End of summer can start to get a little bit more windy, can get some other things happening. But early October, first week of October is the plan. I'm hoping to rent a yacht, captain, chef, like 5-room type of a thing. Not the Love Boat, but a nice yacht for a weekend, and experience Santorini, staying on the yacht, sleeping on the yacht, and then going back and forth to Athens. Of course, you fly into Athens and then we get on the boat. We'll hit Santorini and another couple of islands. There's other islands making wine in the Greek system there. I have some of them. Probably will continue to increase our supply because I really think there's some compelling things happening here. Let me know what you think of this wine as we go through it. Santorini, though, very premium. Okay, this island is pretty spoken for, pretty developed, internationally famous. A lot of big, expensive houses there. Very wealthy go there. They pay a lot of money for stuff, so things are expensive in Santorini. And so can be the wines. So this property, founded in 1903, has done a good job helping to build brand Santorini. And the current generation is only, everyone in Greece has been replaced. All the grandpas, all the people that made wine the way grandpa made have been replaced by scholars that got their master's degree and doctorates in fermentation, vineyard science, viniculture. That's what happens with these, historic places, and the wine qualities all of a sudden goes up and up and up at a pretty extreme level. And then you bring in, some nice moneyed places. Look at this place. It looks like, a palace. And look at those old vines sitting out there. Assyrtiko is the grape variety. If you ask the normal person that says they don't like grape wine, what grape they've tried, they probably don't remember any of the grapes because they are very Greek. This is a Greek classic. If it's a white wine from Greece, it's probably Assyrtiko. But there are some others, and we have some of them on our website. This wine is just like a knife cutting through fatty fish. Love the idea of having this with poultry, pork, oysters. 92 points decanter. Let's see, brilliant minerality, layers, racy, lemony acidity, texture, and long finish. All those things kind of add up to a long finish, great acidity, great texture. That means good concentration from the fruit, but these are sourced from old vines, 70-year-old vines. Stainless steel, 4 months, pretty fresh. It doesn't take a long time to make this wine. They don't try to do too much to it. It's just the sunshine, the wind, the salt air, the grapes, and that rocky little island. Oh, that nose is so awesome. This is what I love about the island wines. That saltiness is just so cool. It's got elevated minerality though. There's like some, you can really smell like granite, schist. I don't know exactly what their stone components are, but that is definitely almost throwing like a little petrol. Mouthfeel, insane. That's like a zip line. Just wow. I hope you love that as much as I do. Yeah, every time I buy this wine, for the last 5 years, I used to buy it 1 case at a time, 2 cases at a time. The next order is 3 cases at a time. They do run out of this wine. It is very highly sought after. It is affordable for what it is, $50. Just think about the great wines of the world. When you talk about the great wines of Greece, this is named in that list. This is a great ambassador wine. I do have some Assyrtiko that is less expensive. I work hard to find Assyrtiko that's less expensive. But I also have some that's more expensive, a lot more expensive. And they can get a lot more expensive. This works really hard to stay $50. I hope you love it. Honest to God, this is like rock star stuff for me. I totally dig it. And this may be making an appearance this weekend. It's Hollywood Bowl Saturday, fireworks. Beck is playing with the LA Phil. The reason I'm not wearing a Dodger hat tonight, Tom and Lisa, is I like almost lost my voice last night at one of the greatest Dodger games of all time. 9th inning, 2 outs, walk off. We had to have 3 hits in a row. We were down by a run, and what a game. Great back and forth. Diamondbacks played a good game. We actually played pretty bad, and we came back and got it. So it was great. But I wore the hat so long. Yes, you wear your Giants hat, damn it. They'll be back. They'll be back. I'm
going tomorrow night, Ian, because I'm down here in Southern California. So
all right.
yeah.
I'll be there.
I'm on the loge level, right at the railing, so.
Sweet, I am there too. Give me your, send me a note with your,
Okay, will
I'm,
do.
section 131.
Okay, I think we're in 126, so not far.
Well,
Yeah,
technically, it's kind of like looking at, you're on the,
cross, I'm on the even and you're on the odd, but you know, that's, sorry, San Francisco people, it's hard for me to be a LA fan up there, I have to tell you.
well, I'm glad you could do it.
Me too.
But yeah, I know we have some Giants fans here. Anybody else like another team on this? We can open it up. All right. We're changing countries. We've done a little French from Corsica. We did a little Greece, Northern Italy. You think you've had a little bit of acidity so far. Let's push it up a notch where they say, what's the band called that the drummer keeps dying? Does anybody know that reference?
Was that from Spinal Tap?
Spinal Tap, yeah.
Yeah.
They coined the expression, let's take it to 11.
11, yes. Christopher Guest, yes.
If you live in Los Angeles, he plays a lot at a little teeny theater down here. He is brilliant live comedian. And he always has his guitar around his neck, and he plays with all the guy who played Squiggy, Michael McKinnon or something like that. He's always with him. He's hilarious too. Largo at the Coronet, and it's cheap. We're up in northern Italy. DOC Collio. And this is a teeny little appellation, lot of surrounding areas here, famous for, you know, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon, Ribolla Gialla. There's some really interesting white wines in this zone. Prosecco's not too far away. Schiopetto is the name of the producer. Meticulous vineyards, row orientation, some of the craziest minerality. And they always say, you know, wines like that Greek wine with acidity's probably a 10. But again, this one takes it to 11. This is where the stones are just throbbing through the wine. An epic spot, base of the Alps. Beautiful. They speak a lot of German up here in this part of Italy. A lot more BMWs than you would think. Sauvignon Blanc is the grape variety. And, you know, as Sancerre has kind of hit this new price level, a lot of Sancerre's $40 and up. It really kind of like opened the jaws and allowed all these great Sauvignons to come rolling in from Austria, from Italy, and even other parts outside of Sancerre. You're starting to see them come in because it makes sense. Who's going to take that zone between 15 and 30 bucks? Well, and you get around 30 bucks, this is where I always tell people, I think the most compelling wines in today's world are right between 30 and 50 bucks. You get legendary stuff at higher levels, but stuff that's really working hard, that has innate value. It shows its character, it shows its quality. It's got muscle, it's powerful, it's epic producers. There's no greater producer in Collio than Schiopetto. I have a wine from them on our website that received 99 points. It's $100 white wine. I use those type of things in some of our crazy dinners. The Schiopetto family comes into Los Angeles a lot. I was invited to a tasting where they were showing off their wines. I could have bought them all. They were all really beautiful. But I really wanted to have something in this price point. It's just underneath. It's like $3 less than my cheapest Sancerre. So you got a cheapest Sancerre from a good producer, but you know, that's what they make, versus the top family in Collio. And that's kind of a good value proposition for me. It works hard at 32. That nose is just crazy cool. It's almost perfume like. Oh, Tom, you fell off, or somebody else coming on? Another thing there. Lisa's the only person using the chat box tonight, but you're all welcome to throw down some comments in there. You can debate with Lisa who's the only team in baseball. I love the perfume in this nose. I don't even need to drink this wine. I just want to smell it. Maybe put a little dash. It's a little more pungent. It's got that more classic Sauvignon Blanc nose, punctuated grapefruit. Ah, come on. You start using your hands when you taste this wine. It's like, that's power. That's like, that makes you hungry. And if you showed up at a great Italian restaurant with a bottle of this wine in your bag, sommelier saw you pull that out, I'd be like, you know, you know what you're doing. This is a very respected house. This is a leader. There's a number of them in this part of the world, but if you like this, explore this part of the world a little bit. Open your eyes to some of the other grape varieties in Collio. Really a quality-oriented white wine region, not a volume-oriented white wine region. There's areas outside of Collio where they can make a lot of wine. Collio is pretty small. It's more hillside, lower yields, great definition. That is Rockstar. Beautiful, delineated, powerful. Love it. Love it. Hope you guys like that as well. We've gone from a beautiful Vermentino to a special Assyrtiko to a spectacular Sauvignon Blanc. So glad I got to taste that with you. Because that's even better than when I tasted it with the owner. And honestly, I'm tasting from the bottles that we poured on Monday. So this has been open 2 days. Wow. That is just starting to soar. That's special stuff. That is not for the meek, though. That is some powerful stuff. I'm really surprised at the level of quality there. Just screaming. That might be too loud for some people. That 11 might just be going too far. Hey, next week, I've got Eduardo Dingler. He writes for a bunch of fancy magazines. He is just this guy just will blow your mind when he talks. He could probably do the session in 7 different languages. He is just built differently. And he speaks Japanese. He knows his sake like nobody's business. He's actually a sake a judge internationally and knows a lot about the producers. He'll be hosting the session. I'll just be sitting there with my pen and paper and tasting the wines. We're tasting some amazing sake, by the way. This is not your 101 class. This is like 401. These are top rated sake that we're going to be tasting next week. You don't have to know a thing about it. Just come and try some amazing stuff and maybe change your mind about sake. I personally love sake at this level. I will say that they are expensive. I mean, they're as expensive as any great bottle of wine. Some of them more expensive, but you know, in there, and when you start tasting when the context and with an expert, they really, really shine. And you know, I think you'll be a big fan. Another thing that I'm working on, and basically all I'm working on for the next 18 or so days, we're at the third, so I got 15 days left. Stars of Pinot is coming. This is my biggest event I'm going to try to pull off since 2019. And if you live anywhere outside of LA, you should fly in for this event. We've got 40 top producers of Pinot Noir. And yeah, let's say I like Pinot, I'm not that crazy about it. Well, all these top Pinot producers are also bringing their Chardonnays. I've got a wine writer for the Wine Enthusiast magazine. He's going to host our 6 o'clock. His name is Matt Ketman. He's a reviewer, mostly handling Central Coast for the magazine. And he's going to be doing a tasting of great Pinots from all the top producers. We got a 6:30 early entrance, a lot of food. You get dinner with this one. You get heavy apps and a buffet with the 6:30. You get a buffet with the 7. You can even come in at 8 o'clock for a deal. And my buddy Richard Blade, I used to be the light board operator for Richard Blade at Studio K-Rock at Knott's Berry Farm in the 1980s. He's still out there. And
That was my station, and he does, yeah, he has that Sirius XM station. Oh my God, boy,
Yeah.
that's memories. Oh
the
wow.
memories, you bet. And he's so good. I got to tell you, he's so good. He's so on it. By the way, did you know that he has like one of the best-selling novels of the past decade? He wrote a story called In My Eyes or In Your Eyes. I think it's In My Eyes. And it's, you know, basically some of the stories of his upbringing in music, and it's going to be turned into a movie. And he's just a really accomplished guy. Despite being about 70 years old and still having a 6-pack abs, he's just a really tremendous individual and so good at what he does. So he'll be hosting the music that night. Here's the list of the wines that we're going to have. 115 wines for you to taste. Too many to mention them all, but there's some of the best in the business. And people coming in from South Africa, from Oregon, from Santa Barbara, from Sonoma Coast, just really, really top brands. Also, the 50 by 50 will be there just because that's Gerald Clisali. He's the founder of the band Devo, and he makes Pinot Noir in Sonoma, and he'll be there pouring his Pinot. Wayfair just signed up as some of the most rock star Pinots ever. Philippe Melka's Westwood's going to be there. William Selliam's going to be there. One of my favorites to introduce people to, Ren Hop. I mean, just crazy list. So tickets, we have different ticket types. 7 o'clock is the great tasting ticket for $110. We're going to feed you and give you great wine. 6:30 dinner, great wine. 6 p.m. sit down, limited older vintage wines, dinner, all included in the price. Got about 100 tickets left for this event. About 150 to 200 people will be at the tasting. By the way, we bought out the entire restaurant, Tess, inside, outside. The whole place will be Stars of Pinot for one night. Moving on to wine number 4. Germany. Top producer, Selbach-Oster. Pinot Blanc. Now, I got to go to the Mosel in Germany. I want to say it was about a dozen years ago. And when I was in the Mosel, the hillsides are all planted with Riesling, but then there's these flat plains near the river. And I saw some vineyards there, and I started asking some questions. And they're like, "Oh, Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc." I'm like, "What's going on with all of that?" There's some great other varieties planted in Germany, and I think you'll love what happens to what they call Weissburgunder. Trocken means dry. This is 2019. The Mosel River snakes back and forth, creating these really amazing exposures. Basically, the monks just kind of planted grapes where the snow melted first. Just really special soils here. We're
Do you have
talking.
do you have your picture up, Ian? We
Oh, I'm
can't.
sorry, you're not seeing my picture.
No, not seeing your picture. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for letting me know. Like Zoom 101 all over again. Let's start from back here. There we go. I should have known you guys weren't in my picture when I was talking. Sorry about that. Selbach-Oster. This is dry Pinot Blanc. Here's our map. Here's the Mosel, right next to the Nahe, the Rheinheisen, the Pfalz, Baden. It's all pretty close by. Rheingau. Also pretty close by is Alsace. So this is that part of the world. Here's a great picture. Look how steep those hills are, all those soils that are mostly made from slate, by the way. Some of the steepest vineyards in the world. That slate comes down that hill, creates the base of the soils down at the bottom of the hill, very thick slate soils. Slate is like compressed shale. So a lot of minerality there. Beautiful zone. That river is used for all types of transport and the commerce, and it is the lifeblood of this region. I want you to notice something. This right here, this is the slate. This is how it happens. You know, the earth moved, and the pieces of the slate allow water to kind of come in through there. You see what I'm looking at here, right here? All this stuff, that's all natural. That's not humans stacking it. That's the way it kind of happens. It might be a little bit of human stacking there, but that's pretty natural. The way it looks, like if you were to dig a hole, you would look at the slate and see all that space. And so water reflect the reflective temperatures off of this rock, help elevate the temperatures there, and they need it. And they have all these canes. They grow the vines up the cane. It's got one cane per vine. They can't let the vines stretch out. They have to grow straight up because of the shadows will block the sun from the other vineyard or the other vines. So that's how they do it. Really, really makes a lot of sense. It creates a very unique nose and character, unlike anything else. So almost like when you smell something like this, you're like, oh, we're in the Mosel, Germany for sure. I just keep looking at the chat box, and it just keeps saying Giants are the only team. What's going on with that? Is anybody else chatting, or am I not seeing any of that? I just left the program. Let me get back in.
There's another chat. You have someone asking what year the wine is.
Okay, thank you. I saw the button light up saying there was another chat there, but I can only see your chat. Oh, there, that's what, because I had you selected there. Okay. All right. So what year is the wine? Yes, this is a 2019 vintage. You almost start when you smell this wine. It's kind of like Riesling. You start smelling and thinking, this might be sweet, or it might be some sweetness there. Pinot Blanc is a really fun grape variety. It's got some great texture. It's a little softer, creamier, but it still shows that terroir, that character that's being created by that slate soil. It's got like a pungent, sweet and sour, bitter, salty kind of combination of things. It makes your mouth water. That's the classic Mosel look there. This wine is $18.95. It's just a great wine to have in the house. You're gonna have some spicy Asian food. You're gonna do some, Thai food, curry, whatever. This is the type of wine for that. So refreshing. Keep that nice and like super cold in an ice bucket on a warm summer's day. Take that on a picnic. So great. And it just goes down so nicely. What is the alcohol in this wine? It's going to be low. 12%, it says. They definitely play around with some residual here. It's not sweet, but maybe a little bit of perception there. It's probably not 100% dry either. They're calling it Trocken though. So that acidity is just so high though. And I always say, with German wines, it's almost got to pretend like you're making lemonade. At what point does the sugar become too much? Because you need to have a little bit of sugar. You can't just put lemon and water and have something that doesn't that's a great way to have a glass of water is with a squeeze of lemon. But if it's all lemon, you got to counteract some of that acidity with a little bit of sweetness so that it's palatable, balanced. And that's what they're doing here. Just a kiss of it. And that makes it really fun I would love to have this with some curry, Penang, green curry, red curry. That's sounding pretty good to me right now. Like eggplant with this type of wine too. Really fun. There's a little place here in the town where I have my office, and lots of good Chinese food over here, and a place called the Duck House, and they make some awesome roasted eggplant. It's got this little pungent sauce on it. It'll be so good with this wine. We'll move into wine number 5. I am getting hungry now. Going to Austria. Grüner Veltliner by Rudolf Pichler. Really, really famous Smaragd Riesling. Oh, this says Smaragd Riesling on the screen. It's not. It is Grüner Veltliner. I promise. I'm holding the bottle. And the bottle says Grüner Veltliner, but the slideshow says Riesling. Sorry about that. Let's hope the notes are about Grüner Veltliner. We'll find out here in a second. There's Wachau. That's the name of the major area where the wines are made. You've got Camptal and Kremstal right there. Most of the wineries are here, and the vineyards are over here. So that's what's kind of going on. The Danube River kind of is the water body that kind of controls a lot of things. There's a lot of the silky gray clayish soil that is kind of the secret weapon of these wines from millions of years of that river flowing, moving the soils. Another that's just like a big river bed, basically, with the vines growing on each side of it. And the Pichler family has this incredible reputation. Hochrain means high place. So that's what we have here. This is the red Hochrain, the red high place. And it's Grüner Veltliner 2021, no matter what the slide says. Let's get into that. A better shot. Look at those terraced hillsides. Really, that's done for sanity. Trying to farm a vineyard on a steep hill like that is almost impossible. And you know, the Germans figured out how to do it, but every year people die rolling down the hill. So they leveled out these plateaus, allowing farmers to work safely. Yeah, the grape says Riesling here too. Sorry guys, I'm not sure what's going on. I think I'm not paying my designer enough money, but it says Riesling and then Grüner Veltliner discussed. So I'll have to, my designers are great designers, but they don't know anything about wine. So that's probably, they saw the bottle and they said, it looks like a Riesling bottle. This is Grüner Veltliner. This is a really special producer, like I said. James Suckling describes it like this: extreme 98-point review on this particular wine. Extremely deep, youthful nose of the entire spectrum of stone fruit. Together with licorice, chamomile, and lime zest, you feel the power and concentration on the compact and ripe palate. But a large part is held in reserve. Extremely long and structured finish that keeps pumping out the apricot fruit, yet remains so precise. You think about the Austrians' mentality and their pursuit of perfection and their zero defect ideas and their math and their cleanliness and their precision. That's what this wine kind of typifies. And the Pichlers have been doing that for a long time. That remember I was telling you about that silty soil, that kind of broken down rock that is now so broken down it's like clay. And that is what these grapes are growing in, is this amazing kind of clay soil underneath all that stone. It's a real exotic nose. Very savory. This can surprise you with what it could go well with. Certainly, seafood is a wonderful pairing, but you can carry this into some other dishes. The Schmargs are a little bit more riper than other Grüner Veltliners. They're kind of later harvest, kind of allowing the grapes to reach a warmer, riper level. And this one carries 13.5 alcohol. So you're going out to a fancy restaurant in LA, maybe it's Providence or Melise. In San Francisco, maybe it's like Quince. Great food destinations. Having this with that signature dish, and it could range from pork to veal, signature fish dishes, of course. You can play around with a lot of spices and a lot of different flavor. This is a very complex wine, so you could get more complex cuisine. I think it's too much wine for something simplistic, and you know, your hamachi with some lemon juice, or some sort of sesame oil or something like that. That might be too singular for a wine of this size and this power. I think you need something a little bit more significant, probably have some nice carbohydrates behind it too, like some potatoes, some puree, some pasta. Um, and there's some classic Austrian dishes too. Not enough restaurants paying homage to the Austrian cuisine. We just got a new Austrian restaurant, however, in Los Angeles. I'm going to try to start it. I'm going to try to visit it soon. Um, Austrian chef used to work at Spago. This is like his third time trying to give it a go. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. You can count on just absolutely the most spotless wineries ever in Austria. Stainless steel tanks, just super minimalist. Look at the stark design up in the corner there. Here's the bottle, 75 bucks. And this is considered A, one of the best producers, B, one of the best vintages. And by the way, this wine needs 5 more years in the bottle and probably ages for 20. So you could have some of the greatest wine ever made in your cellar for 75 bucks. That's the value proposition of this wine. Of course, you have to like it. And find a spot to drink it. Not enough time, you go to a fancy restaurant, person with a wine list looks up, red or white. I doubt they're saying red or white, thinking maybe a Grüner Veltliner on the white wine side. It's just not a real common thing for a lot of us to consider, but this wine can be just so amazing with the right meal. So give it a shot sometime when you're out. You're at a nice restaurant. By the way, the Grüner Veltliner on the Quince wine list is going to be a hell of a lot better deal than a California Chardonnay or a bottle of champagne or something like that. This is going to be where you're going to find the real value in a very expensive restaurant, stuff like this, because this is kind of what they want you to drink. They're like, oh yeah, we made this food for the Grüner Veltliner. So the sommelier might recommend it to you, and then you'll be like, I don't know. But trust it. It's really a special opportunity and powerful. Any of you had any thoughts about the Grüner? Elizabeth, what are you guys thinking?
Hi, Tom.
I got Elizabeth, Alex, and Rachel sitting there.
Yes, we're here in the backyard enjoying the beautiful day.
All right.
We really like this. Really like the Weissburgunder as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's really, it's a great wine, really nice.
So
Thank you,
cool.
Dana.
And it's Macy's favorite wine thus far this evening. I will tell you that. And I think I mentioned to you we were in Vienna about a month and a half ago, right? Grüner Veltliner is ubiquitous in Austria. I mean, every restaurant, they'll have a Riesling on the menu and 4 Grüner Veltliners, that type of thing. If you're doing by the glass, we even went to Milk, which is kind of in the Wachau, and went to a little a place, a little wine merchant there, and it's 70% of the wine in Austria is Grüner Veltliner. This one is really has more depth than most of the Grüner Veltliners I've had. It's really superb.
That's a good
So,
one.
I'm gonna venture to guess, this is a weird thing to say, but it's probably true. And I bet you this wine in Austria is over $100 US.
It might be. I wasn't buying by the bottle. I was mostly buying by the glass there. Didn't see it on any, but I didn't study it in the same way that I studied the Hungarian wines when I was in Budapest, but that's a completely different story. But it's really superb. And by the way, I love Grüner Veltliner with oysters. It's I just love it with oysters. So
Cool.
there you go.
You put
Yeah.
anything on the oysters or
Just lemon, just lemon. I don't put any of that other crap. I like oysters, nice and briny, a little bit of lemon, perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that personal story there from Austria. And that's kind of the way of Europe too. You know, whenever you go to another country in Europe, you're drinking the wine of that place and probably not much of anything else. You know, so you're in France, you're going to drink French wine. You're in Spain, you're going to drink Spanish wine. You're in Italy, it's Italian. And certainly in Austria, it's that way. That's one of the reasons why we're so spoiled here in California is we get to buy wine from all over the world. And that's not common. And we are almost every country's #1 marketplace at the same time. That's how powerful the California wine market is. If we were a country, Los Angeles would be in the top 10 wine markets in the world. California is like number 3. So we're, Los Angeles represents very well. And so the wine industry is coming through Los Angeles in a lot of ways. There's it's just a really important thing. And that's why I love being a merchant here because I got so many choices. If I had to be a wine merchant in Austria and only sell Grüner Veltliner, I would feel, it would be a wonderful thing. I honestly hope someday I'll retire in Bone and have a little wine shop with, some great Burgundy and welcome people from America, do that kind of thing. That's kind of what I want to do in the last part of my life. And so I'll be resigning to that limited mindset because they don't drink anything outside of Burgundy that's not from Burgundy. Awesome wine. We're going to move on. Last one. Oremus. If I wasn't on Facebook, I would play a song called Oremus. If you search it on your Spotify, it's a very good song. You see, I think I just lost you there. I have been drinking a lot of wine tonight, so my Zoom controls are a little less than perfect. All right. Oremus Furmint. This is this is pretty severe, rare, limited. I venture to say there's 10 retailers in America that have this wine. I was invited to a very special event with Jose, who is the winemaker for Oremus as well as Vega Sicilia. And he's an incredibly passionate, proud, hardworking man, and he decided to make this special wine from Furmint. Now, Furmint, to appreciate what this is, Furmint is the grape. It is the base, the grape that you would use to make the sweet wine of Hungary, called Tokaj Azu. The way they make Azu is they take this Furmint grape and allow it to get botrytis. Some of the berries in the bunch will get botrytis, so they'll pick those off by hand. Then they turn the botrytis grapes into a paste, and they take buckets of the paste and add it to a dry ferment. The bucket is known as a petunio. So 1 petunio, 2 petunio, 5 petunio, 6 petunio. They do make a wine called Essentia that's like all paste. So really ripe stuff. That is not what this is. This is ferment grown on very noble sites. Site, singular. I've not been to Tokaj yet, but it is on the list. And I have done 100 different presentations on the wines here. You know, just there's Budapest right in the middle. You're pretty close to that. They do make, Hungarians are very proud of their different wine varieties. Very difficult to say, many of them. Ferment, thank God it's just easy to say that, grape variety. This is very old land. In fact, you go back several centuries and you could see the wines from this area being considered some of the greatest in the world. Now, communism came through, destroyed this wine area, and it's been being put back together one great wine at a time since the early 1980s. Doesn't take long, takes some investment, takes some vision, and this is where he comes in. Nobody has tried to make ferment a great dry white wine yet. And he is like, it's time. I'm not going to make a lot of it, but I'm going to do it really well. I want it to be compared to the great wines of the world. I'll spend what I need to spend to do it, and we'll find the right site, and we'll make an epic version. Now, there are some very modestly priced ferment dry from this area that are very affordable. And that's kind of where people always think you got to start. His mentality is, let's start at the top. Let's make the best example and get known for being the best, and let everybody else make the quantity. We'll make the quality. That's his way about it. Beautiful facilities, perfect facilities. In fact, gravity flow, temperature control, the right amount of investment, not a huge place, but a big enough place to make enough wine. You can sell it around the world. Hungary is not a big enough wine market alone. They make the wine for the exporting. Focused on Grand Vin. They wanted to be a top producer. Now, this wine is so rare that no one had rated this wine yet. I used to work for James Suckling. I was a ghostwriter. Just did it for a little while. But what you take is you take the color of the wine, give 15 points for color. Maybe this is 14.5. I mean, how much can you take away? The wine looks beautiful. It's got great, beautiful, soft, pale, golden color, 14.5. Aroma, 25 points. Smell this wine, magic. As I said here, think Chardonnay with some more stony character and a kiss of petrol. Baked green apples, lees, toasted nut bread, white flowers, citrus peel, all those things in the glass. Aroma, 25 points. I think I'm 24 points. Body, this thing is built like a battle tank. Voluminous. It's got some, it kind of comes in your mouth, big flavor profile, and then it just screams out. Like, it's like you feel the acidity just tearing at your palate. really crazy experience there. A lot of body, probably 23.5 overall, about 34 out of 35 points, 33, maybe 33.5, 34, 35. So I gave it 33.5, 24 for the body, 22 for the aroma, 14.5 for the color. That's where we came up to 94 points. I think it's an amazing wine. And if you check out my scores, they're usually within a point of anybody else. And you don't just throw a score out there. You got to kind of build up to it. So the next time you taste it, you kind of got to get the same score and find out why the wine has changed. Maybe change your mind on the score. I think this is a really special wine. It needs to be. It's dear. It's expensive. But it's trying to be the best at what it is. This is $120 a bottle from the maker of Vegas Sicilia. Told you we're going to chase some nice stuff tonight. Tasted over $300 worth of wine. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. Pick some favorites. Use your discount code. You got 10% off of anything in the store until tomorrow night. We are continuing in July. I don't know if you've been listening to the stock reports and stuff. FedEx, UPS, they're getting destroyed in the stock market. They're now racing to the bottom, lowering their prices. I'm sharing that. We've created free shipping on $400 anywhere in America that's legal, contiguous US. That's the first time we've ever been able to do it because those shipping prices are cray. Stupid. I basically charge cost for the shipping on my website outside of California. In California, I keep it at $20 for shipping outside of LA, and we deliver ourselves in Los Angeles. On orders over $100, we do a free delivery. I'm getting pushed on that a little bit. That's pretty tough to do. May have to get rid of that at some point. May have to raise California to 25 because nothing costs $20 anymore. It's all 25 to $28. I'm eating on every single order. But outside of California, a box of Chardonnay in the month of February cost me $120 to send to New York. That's down to about $85 right now. And I think FedEx and UPS are pushing down on pricing, trying to get the volume back. And I blame them for a big part of what is our, inflationary economy. They're part of the problem when they're making everything so expensive to move from point A to point B. I thank you guys for being here tonight. We have some great Zooms coming up. Hope to see you at Sake, and take a look at the calendar, Zoom into wine. We're scheduled all the way through next month as well. And I love seeing the family approach. Bring your friends together. Thank you guys for doing that. Makes it fun for me. And I hope you guys all have a great 4th of July weekend.